Hello, beautiful souls. So today I have the honor and pleasure to have with me Gary from New Mexico. Gary is a very fascinating person with a lot of interests and curiosity and a lot of different modalities of practice. So he's going to share a little bit about that and tell us how he wants to contribute in his own way to, to manifest a beautiful reality on Terra in the present and future. So welcome, Gary, and tell us more a little bit about who you are and what you'd like to do or what you do.
Well, thanks so much, Abigail, for having me here. I'm pretty excited to talk with you since I didn't
Pleasure.
get to meet you at the GISIC conference. There was a million people there, it seemed.
Yeah.
Beautiful, filled with so much love. So I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, well, I guess I was connected with ETs ever since a little kid.
Okay.
And that topic certainly fascinated me to make a giant searchlight when I was a little kid. I went out to the garage and made a searchlight to try to attract UFOs as a little kid. I didn't attract many any UFOs, but I attracted a
Hmm.
lot of moths and uh, and kids from down the street that
Yeah, I
saw
imagine.
the light. So that was fun. But yeah, and I made a little UFO from a UFO kit that I got from the Edmund Scientific Catalog and launched that up, and that was really fun.
Cool.
But so I've been into ETs. I mean, in terms of understanding that we're not alone since a little kid. Same with my parents; they were open to it as well.
Hmm.
But at any rate, so growing up, I went into music and have been a musician all my life pretty much, and not doing too much professionally right now, actually. And but then I went into architecture, and at the same time I went to architecture school, I also learned about Feng Shui and sacred geometry. In fact, I started learning about sacred geometry in college in architecture school. So that was pretty cool. That was
Cool.
like my favorite subject. And so over the years, I have learned about integrating all kinds of organic things to add into design because it just only made sense to me to design buildings that were connected to nature.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of building so naturally, ideally, so naturally with the environment that you can't even tell there's a building there until you're right on top of it and you realize, oh, this is not a rock or a
Yeah.
forest. This is a house,
Completely
or
harmonious. Hmm.
yeah, exactly. Of course, then sacred geometry taught me about how everything is about resonance and frequency and relationships. And so over the years, combining all my extraterrestrial knowledge and architectural design and all the other disciplines I do, I try to bring in so many different design aspects into the work that I do.
Hmm.
And right now I'm designing a holistic healing center in Arizona, and it's on large acreage. And so I'm incorporating things like, besides feng shui, which I started learning about when I was in college, also um, learning about regenerative design, which is beyond sustainability,
Yeah.
and sacred geometry, of course. And then there's Paralandra, which works with the energies of the land and nature spirits and bringing them involved in a design project. And then permaculture, of course, is really important to consider all the aspects of the land and integrating the building in with the land and all of the systems that go into a building that's integrated with the land is wonderful to bring in as well. And of course, energy efficiency and self-sufficiency. That's all exciting. And then non-toxic building materials is important to me. So because I have a lot of friends and clients that can't even live in a building very easily because of the toxicity of the materials.
Yeah.
So I like to bring in that information. And then there's biomimicry. Have you heard of biomimicry?
I've heard of it, but I would love for you to tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, biomimicry is about bringing systems from nature into design for buildings or products or anything else. There's a
Hmm.
whole school about biomimicry, which is about integrating natural consciousness and understanding into our design process. And there's many aspects that
Mm.
biomimicry is being integrated into. And then there's something called biophilic design, which is about bringing in plants and bringing the outdoors in and integrating the indoors with the outdoors.
Wow, fascinating.
That's all part of it. Um, and of course, now having learned about frill,
Mm.
at the conference and bringing in free energy, at some point we're going to be having that to integrate into our buildings too. So that's going to be a real helpful thing. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Absolutely.
Show
Would
you
you?
that.
Yeah, I would love it. When we were talking together before, you showed me this beautiful plan, and if you're okay with it, to share it with others, I would love to, for
Well,
people
this is just
to
a
have
quick
a.
preliminary sketch of this healing retreat center I'm working on. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Wow,
Let
how
me see.
beautiful is that? I mean, how can you not heal in a place like that? It's so
Exactly.
gorgeous. Yeah,
It's like
magnificent.
it's because frequencies are created by geometries. I mean, I'm sure you've all seen how they have sand on a glass plate and then they resonate it with music or different
Yeah.
tones and things, and that or
Mhm.
self-organizes into different sacred geometry patterns and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
so we design with these patterns built in. That particular building that I'm designing right now is based on the hexagram or the
Hmm.
six, or the flower of life, actually. And we're in the floor plan, which is basically like 12-sided building. We're going to be having in the center dome section a on the floor, kind of like the uh, Metatron's cube, which is like the flower of life design, a very expanded view of that.
Hmm.
And hopefully we're going to have it lit from below so that it just radiates this energy from below, so people just feel the higher frequencies in the building. So I like
Amazing.
putting all these things into it so that it's just the highest possible frequency that the building can have, so that it raises our frequency when we're in the building. So
Hmm.
that's the goal for all of the buildings we're going to be having in this particular retreat center.
Wow.
And of course, I love curvilinear design. I'm definitely out of the box.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people that can do box architecture
Hmm.
and all this linear stuff, but that's not what I'm into. So
Yeah. It's
I let
beautiful
other
because
people
as you
go.
describe these structures, I cannot help but thinking about these marvelous um, structures we've heard from Elena or others as well upstairs, where you have
Yeah,
these houses with like walls that are transparent on one side, but you can't view on the other side, and things like that. Where the material is. So I mean, you're so futuristic in the present in a way. It's so beautiful how it will join with what we have upstairs when we're gonna kind of connect also with our brothers and sisters upstairs. So it's beautiful how everything comes together in your approach and what's already up there. So it's really, really cool. Anyway,
yeah,
continue.
thanks. I'm really excited about all the new materials that we're going to be getting. In fact, I'm researching new materials and
Hmm.
working with a new company that's pioneering new materials as well, that can
Yeah.
do curvilinear shapes. That there's
Hmm.
already people that can do that with concrete, sprayed concrete, and things like that. But
Yeah.
we're trying to get more earth-based materials, so we're experimenting with that. And also, there's of course the transparent aluminum,
Mm.
which is what I've heard that is on. Um, well, I don't know if I should mention this or not, but
I'll,
um,
I'll,
a
you say
very
what you're comfortable with and what you're allowed to talk about. I don't want to push you.
yeah. I mean, I heard from, it's public knowledge, I guess, but the library at the Vatican has windows that are transparent aluminum, and I've heard also that the ships, from reading all of Elena's books and Tony Rodriguez's books,
Hmm.
that the ships are, they look metallic on the outside, but you can see through them. I don't know if they, I think they can turn off and on the transparency aspect of the material.
Yeah.
So that's in our future too.
Hmm.
And already there's a lot of people talking about transparent aluminum. So I'm very
Wow.
much into experimenting with buildings, materials that are higher frequency and not toxic.
Hmm.
So that's kind of a passion for me.
Wow.
And
It's exciting.
I love
What's it? So yeah.
networking with other people who are interested in cutting edge design as well.
Yeah. And also the whole question of like these ships being actually conscious. So there is that conscious matter as well, is also probably something you will probably explore as well. This whole notion of materials that have consciousness is really a fascinating concept as well. So
It is. I know. I've had a vision for the longest time of futuristic buildings and so forth, but I've had a vision, and I don't know if it's going to manifest here anytime soon, but of people seeding the ground with something and then standing around in a circle and then chanting and singing, and the building just kind of emerges out of the ground or something like that.
wow. How cool is that?
Yeah, so
Really
I'm
cool.
definitely thinking way in advanced. For example, like photosynthesis in plants. Well, how can we bring that into the buildings that we
Mhm.
design? I'm designing like a 12-story condo building that's based on a flower design that I saw at a botanic garden, and I'm still working on that design.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I'm working on other designs. Like I have a house design that a couple clients want that's called the Jewel in the Lotus, and so you can kind of imagine what that might be like.
Mhm.
So it's fun. Yeah, it's all about raising the frequency of our planet here,
Yeah.
and of course doing drumming and chanting and stuff like that. I love kirtan. I've been in a kirtan band, and I love chanting and so forth. So that's bringing up the frequency every time we chant, every time we meditate, and think about joyful things. That raises our frequency, and that's what we have to do a lot of, along
Yeah.
with laughter.
Yeah. Without
That's
humor, we're not getting frequencies up. So, I mean, it's absolutely paramount to
I
bringing
know.
those vibes up. Yep.
I know. That reminds me of, when I've heard of stories of shamans who are exorcising like demons or, entities out of people, and they see all these shadowy beings coming out of the person's body. They're just sitting back laughing
Yeah.
because, of course they're bringing in joy and love, and that's
Hmm.
a higher frequency, and these other entities can't handle that.
They can't stand it.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely crucial. You before we
Yeah.
leave, we have a couple of minutes left. You mentioned also that you are hosting some sort of exchanges and not conferences, but exchanges with people regarding different topics. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that aspect as well?
Yeah. I just felt the call to step up and take more participation in the world of getting this consciousness, this knowledge out there.
Hmm.
So I've been hosting for a couple months, last few months, starting before the conference actually, of discussion gatherings, talking all about the Galactic Federation, ET connections, people's experiences with ETs that they haven't been able to talk about before,
Yeah.
sharing all kinds of knowledge that I've been learning from all these people who are in the secret space program, and just comparing notes. And we're going to be showing movies too, that I have purchased,
Okay.
um, about all these things. So that's happening in my town. I'm in Silver City, New
Cool.
Mexico. So we've been doing that there. And I have people in other cities wanting me to come in and perhaps do that as well. So
Cool.
it's maybe expanding, but I'm just doing it for free,
Hmm.
and just get the word out there and let people know that we're about ready to have a Star Trek future.
Absolutely. And like Alex keeps repeating, it's time for us to go on a community level, on the smaller basis where we all join and think about how we want to manifest things. So I think you're really doing, contributing that to that with those efforts. So I think that's really a good idea to bring people together in your own area and just have people chat and exchange. And, that's really important. So it's great.
Yeah, and you mentioned community, the word community, and I've lived in communities of different types all my adult life. So that's a passion for me. Designing holistic healthcare, spiritual communities is a passion and excitement for me. I've designed communities already,
Hmm.
and so I'm looking forward to participating with more people who are wanting to bring in that community consciousness into
Yeah.
into the fore, and that includes communication and being able to communicate and hold space for each other for deep processing and so forth. And so yeah, community. You know, a lot of people can't live in community, but there's different forms of community, and so
Yeah.
that's a real important aspect to design. And so I got this download from reading a book, channeled from Archangel Michael, that laid out a whole community design based on sacred geometry and groups of triangular related houses together in a bigger uh, square and triangle and circle combinations of sacred geometry on the land.
Wow.
And it could scale to different scales, you know,
Mm-hmm.
small properties to large properties. And so I've been working on that in terms of designing communities with sacred geometry in them, where the land allows that, of course. And
Yeah.
that's where all the architectural background comes in, is you have to do this practically according to what the land is saying as well.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah,
Gary, we're already at 15 minutes. It
I
flies.
know.
It's
So
always so fascinating and interesting to have everybody's, each person's, bringing their own thing into this. This is really, really wonderful what you share with us. So thank you very much. Would you like? Is there a website you would like to share with us? So this way we can people can discover a little bit more about what you do, and eventually connect with you if they wish so.
sure. My website is just my Feng Shui website right now. I'm developing another website for my company, which is Regenesis International.
Okay.
And um, but I haven't gotten that one up. That'll be with all my futuristic designs and so forth, and projects that I've been working on.
Okay.
But the Feng Shui website is fengshuidesign.net. So that's spelled FENGSHUI design DESIGN.net. And then my
Perfect.
email address is gary.fengshuidesign@proton.me.
Excellent. Okay, so I'll put that under our image here so people will be able to look at it while we have this interview. So I want to thank you immensely, Gary, for sharing with us. Time flies, but it was a real pleasure to have a little bit of an idea of what's coming in the future with its incredible, architectural projects and healing centers. It's really, really inspiring. So thank you for sharing that with us today.
Oh, you're
And
sure welcome. It's been a delight to speak with you.
it's the
Yeah,
same here.
so much.
And
Yeah.
good luck in all your amazing, practices and everything you'll bring to the world. And we'll have an opportunity to exchange perhaps in the next JSEC.
That sounds fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
August, Denver.
All right.
Cool. Well,
Take
thanks
a
so much.
great. Thank you, and take great care of yourself. Thank you again.
Okay, we'll do.
Bye.